That applies, however, only to the secretary responsible for the case. Anyone would still be at liberty to take the other secretaries by surprise at night, but hardly anyone ever will. There's almost no point to it. First, anyone who did so would arouse the ire of the secretary responsible for the case. We secretaries may certainly not be jealous of each other where our work is concerned. Each has only too great a workload to carry. We get more than enough of that. But in dealing with members of the public, we cannot tolerate any interference with our responsibility. Many have lost a case because when they thought they weren't getting anywhere with the secretary responsible, they tried to slip past the network in the wrong way. Such attempts are in fact bound to fail because a secretary who is not responsible for a case, even if he is taken by surprise at night and feels inclined to help, can hardly intervene in it because he is not responsible, any more than a random attorney can, indeed, much less so. For even if he might otherwise do something or other, since he knows the secret ways of the law far better than all those legal gentlemen, he simply doesn't have any time for matters for which he is not responsible. He can't spare a minute for them. So who, with these prospects in view, would spend his nights on the trail of secretaries not responsible for his case? And the members of the public are fully occupied in trying to comply with the summonses from and signals given by those who are responsible for their cases, as well as pursuing their usual professions. I mean, fully occupied, of course, as members of the public would understand it, which of course is far from being the same as fully occupied in the sense in which the secretaries would do so. Kay nodded with a smile. He thought he understood all about it, not because it troubled him, but because he was now convinced that he would fall properly asleep in the next few minutes, and this time without any dream or other disturbance. Between the secretaries responsible on one side and those not responsible on the other, and in view of the whole crowd of fully occupied members of the public, he would fall into a deep sleep and thus escape it all. By now he was so used to Bürgel's quiet, self-satisfied voice, as he obviously endeavored in vain to fall asleep himself, that it was more likely to send him to sleep than disturb his slumbers. Clatter, mill wheel, clatter, he thought. Clatter on for me. So where? Said Bürgel, two fingers toying with his lower lip, his eyes wide, craning his neck, as if he were approaching a delightful viewing point after an arduous walk. So where is that elusive opportunity I mentioned? The one that almost never comes. The secret lies in the way responsibility is regulated. For it is not possible, nor in a large and living organization can it be, for only a secretary to be responsible for every case. It is simply that one secretary has the main responsibility, but many others have responsibility, even if less responsibility for certain parts of it, who, however hard a worker, could accommodate all the papers relating to even the smallest incident on his desk. Even what I have said about the main responsibility is going too far. Is not the whole thing also contained in the smallest responsibility? Is not the ardor with which one approaches the case a crucial point? And is not that always the same, always present at full strength? There may be differences between the secretaries in everything, and there are countless such differences, but not in the matter of ardor. None of them will be able to hold back if he receives an invitation to take part in a case for which he has only the slightest responsibility. Outwardly, however, an ordered opportunity for negotiation must be created. And so a certain secretary comes to the fore where the members of the public are concerned, and it is to him that they must officially turn. However, he does not have to be the one who bears the greatest responsibility for the case. The organization and its particular needs at the time influence the decision here. Such is the state of affairs. And now, Mr. Land Surveyor, judge what chance there is for a member of the public, through circumstances of some kind and despite the obstacles already described to you, which in general are perfectly adequate, to take a secretary with a certain responsibility for the case by surprise in the middle of the night. After all, I suppose you haven't thought of such a thing yet. I am happy to believe you, but it isn't necessary to think of it, because it almost never happens. What a strange little grain of matter, formed in a certain special way. How very small and clever such a member of the public must be if it's to slip through such a perfect sieve. You think it can't happen? You are right, it can't. But then, and who can guarantee everything, one night it does happen. To be sure, I know of no one among my acquaintances to whom it has happened, but that doesn't prove much. By comparison with the numbers involved here, my own acquaintance is limited. And anyway, it isn't certain that a secretary to whom such a thing has happened will admit it. It is always a very personal matter, and to some extent carries the stigma of official shame.